Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet Hope, Chicago. 2 is 4, 4 4 6. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on, honey, don't you?
I may be Marty Levinson, and I may be Rabbi Doug, but either way, you're watching the Northtown News Magazine show.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine. Your host, Avi Meyer, and the greatest cameraman of all, Sonny Hersh.
Hail Levinson. Marty, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And this is the fourth show of the two-camera era, a great era. This is the second shooting, and the first without these funny dots on the screen, of our beautiful blue background, these tie-dye jeans that went the wrong way. And, of course, thank you so much.
Person.
Pardon?
Very large person.
Very large person. That's what Sonny Hersh says. Sonny Hersh, of course, being the person reprehensible for these cameras, the background, the entire technical side of the show, the entire technical crew, audio, lighting, everything. Everything but the ridiculous words that will flow from my mouth are his. But in any event, we want to thank you so much. Thank you for on the web, ntnm.org. If you want to go to Sonny site too. Okay, by the way, he also did my nails. No, I've never had my nails done. Polished my shoes. No, I'm wearing gym shoes. They can't be polished. Sonny also is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee for the 24th District. And if you want to know where the CAPS meeting is for your neighborhood, okay, go to you don't have to type in www anymore, caps24.org. And by the way, Sonny's meetings, which is the District 2413, are the third Tuesday of every month. And they alternate. Go to caps24.org for the location. My meetings, 2412, are the fourth Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. And go to caps24.org for the exact time. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? And it is time to introduce our guest, the leading election lawyer of the state of Illinois, and somebody whose name gets to be in the paper a real lot, because we've got a real lot of elections, and always fun controversy the whole shot. Jim Nally. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me again, Avi.
First of all, my pleasure, and we want to wish good health to your dad, and all should go well. So, in any event, so I guess we can start with the 49th ward's like a big fight, and you're the lawyer, so there's a limit to what you can say on the air. I know that. But for those who don't know, the person who's handling Jim Gordon's case is of course Jim Nally. Yeah,
I'm co-counseling Mike Lavelle,
Yeah.
who's the dean of the election bar in Illinois, and I'm assisting him on the case. And I really don't have a lot to say right now. We're in a motion stage right now on the case, and there'll be some motions up in court next week, and that will go a long way towards seeing the progress of the case. So.
Right. So anyway, I know you could say much, but I at least want to let people know some of the stuff you do. Now, you were saying you wanted to talk. Now we got a primary that's like way different. It looks like.
Well, the governor has not yet signed the bill, but it's been passed, and it's just a matter of time, and he will. Moving up the primary, as you know, our primaries have always been the third Tuesday in March for as long as I can remember.
Right.
And
my whole life, as far as I know.
And as most people know, particularly for local offices, the primary very often is the only election in effect that matters.
Because everything's Democrat here. So what Democrat won, and you're home from there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, for many county offices and local offices, if you win the Democratic primary in Chicago,
you win.
You're done. So.
I mean, even Todd Stroger.
Yeah, and the big change is going to be that because of the national campaign going on, and particularly Senator Obama being a candidate for president, Illinois wanted to get into the act while it still mattered, because even the last couple of elections, by the time the election got to Illinois, the primaries for both the Democratic and Republican parties, pretty much the nominees had been pretty much chosen. And so on the national level, at least, there'd still be spirited local races and things like that here in the primaries. But as far as presidential years, most of the time by the middle of March, there were enough big primaries that had taken place in other states that you pretty much knew who the nominee of each party was going to be.
So we'll have a relative few months to decide between could be many 10, 12 candidates in each party, and then 9 months to find everything that's wrong with the two guys that won.
Well,
or ladies, as the case may be.
Yeah, the big thing is that this will move everything up on the calendar roughly 5 to 6 weeks. The new primary date under the bill will be February 5th.
Right, so February 5th, and that means I got to put out Jewish Chicago in the end of January. Actually, more like the third week in January, because that's got to go at least 2 weeks before, which also means that petitions and filing dates, you can't file December 7th for a February 5th election.
Right, everything is going to move back 5, 6 weeks based on the election coming back.
So we're talking early August being about the time that you could start with petitions.
Right now, tentatively, August 7th would be the first day to start circulating petitions.
Wow. And when would they have to be filed by?
The filing period then for petitions, and it will be a little bit different for like the presidential delegates and stuff. They're a little bit later. They start circulating a week or two later, and they file a week or two later. But for regular offices, the filing period would be October 29th to roughly November 5th or 6th.
Wow, that's early.
That's very early.
As opposed to December 7th was usually, or December 6th.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly Pearl Harbor Day, but around there.
Yeah, it was usually around the 6th or 7th of December and extending out a week from there. So it's going to be a big difference in the dynamics of everything because people are going to have to get their acts together a lot earlier. Now, there may be benefits in terms of circulating because if people can start circulating in August, generally there's going to be good weather. You're not worried about passing petitions, say, in November when the weather could be 2 feet of snow and 20 degrees.
But that also means canvassing and knocking on people's doors is going to be like Christmas time, Hanukkah time.
Right, and that part of the schedule I'll talk about in a minute because that will cause some problems. But basically, as far as the front end on circulating, people might find that to be a better way to do it because you're going to have summertime, the weather will be better. Now, you might not catch as many people at home with vacation schedules and things like that, but you're going to basically be able to circulate petitions in August, September, and October, which weather-wise should be decent weather in terms of getting out and getting signatures. Also, you're probably going to be able to get signatures at block parties and outdoor events that are staged. So it might make it easier to get signatures in that regard. The problem is going to be when you get towards the back end. You better make sure you get out because there are plenty of campaigns that don't even get underway till late September, early October. And if you've got to be filing the end of October, you're really cutting it close.
Really close. That's dangerous.
So I think like any new thing, it's going to have to play
so I
out.
have to watch out for trick-or-treaters, but people getting petitions too.
It's possible, yeah. That would actually be Halloween would fall during the filing week, but you're going to have some of the people who are waiting the last day to file.
Some of those people with petitions are playing evil tricks on the American public.
So you're going to see the dynamic is going to change, and it's one of those things where we can talk about it, but until you go through one cycle of it, it's like when we changed the voting machines. Until you go through one cycle of it, you really can't be totally prepared for what might happen.
No, we don't know. That's an interesting point. That's going to be very, very different.
Well, and then the period for objections to petitions will be in November.
Yeah.
And then the period probably whatever cases from there go to court would be in December. But I think the dynamic may be more important when it comes to the voting because you're going to have a period of time then with the holidays.
Well, not to mention the newspaper delivery in January now as opposed to early March.
Yeah, and
I mean that's my thing, Jewish Chicago. But
well, and you're also going to have people where the campaigns are going to be gearing up right during what is the holiday season, be it Hanukkah or Christmas, and New Year's coming, and the football bowl games, and the Super Bowl, and all that going on. So, people will be voting February 5th, and this year with the aldermanic and mayoral elections in Chicago, people were talking about how hard it was to get momentum going with the February 23rd election, that it was just too hard to get past the holiday period, and then kind of with the Bears going to the Super Bowl and all, everybody was kind of focused on that. And a lot of the candidates were complaining that nobody really paid attention till maybe the early part of February, and then you only had a couple weeks until the election took place. Well, here the election itself will be February 5th. So
it's just like a week after the Super Bowl, or maybe the same time. Is it Super Bowl late January, early February?
I believe it would be the Tuesday after Super Bowl Sunday.
Nobody's ready for this. We won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah. So I mean, if the Bears go on another roll, I don't know who will be paying attention to anything but the Bears. But, just with the holidays and all the other stuff going on, it's going to be real difficult.
Tommy Harris out the next day to sack somebody. But,
yeah, well, maybe if Rex has a good year, he can run for something.
Well, it'd be nice if he has a good year.
But the other interesting thing, Avi, is, as you know, we have the early voting now.
Yeah.
So you're going to have people who are going to be early voting the early part of January. And
we're talking a month in advance.
Yeah. So you're going to have early voting starting right after New Year's.
So it wouldn't be it wouldn't be in 07 for 08, but it would be early 08.
But it would be very early 08, right?
Wow.
So it's going to be, and who's to say if all the the ballots are going to be finalized, because if the objection period is in November, you could very well have court cases going well into December, and then again with the holidays, the courts might not be. They have court holidays and things involved all around that period of time. So I know the election authorities are very concerned, and I know David Orr and Langdon Neal from the Chicago board and a couple of the Lake County clerk, the McHenry County clerk, they've contacted the legislature to say, hey, fine, move the primary up, but we also want you to do some things with early voting dates and periods for filing and objections. We want all that moved back so there's plenty of time for us figure out who's going to be on the ballot, get ballots printed, get ballots out, so that when people come in to early vote in January, there's still not questions about who's going to end up being on the ballot and who's not.
Wow. Boy, this is going to be a culture shock.
I just think that people are going to be caught unaware.
I started my political season on the show earlier.
Yeah, I mean, your political season will be, Thanksgiving.
Now. Well, actually, we start earlier than that because but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to have people filing, their nomination petitions the last week of October.
Oh, one thing I do want to say on the air, Dick Devon, I please run for re-election as state's attorney. I would like that very much, please.
But all these candidates and
Sonny says yes to.
Yeah, Dick is a great state's attorney, and he's done a lot of good things.
Wonderful guy, absolutely wonderful guy, and really want you to run. I know the family. You get more grandkids, want to enjoy them. Enjoy them. Just don't. You don't have to do the murder case next time. It's okay. And good job, by the way. Not your fault you didn't get the death penalty. It should have happened, but in today's society that doesn't.
But so I think the dynamic's going to be very different, and I don't think people are even aware this is kind of sneaking up. And I think everybody thinks, oh, well, the primary's going to be February 5th. Yeah, that's February, and that's months away, and we'll deal with it when we have to deal with it. But what they don't realize is that date triggers all these preliminary dates that come before that.
And then 9 months of figuring out why all these guys are even more evil than we knew in the first place.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully we select good people in the primary, so we're not worried about that. Now, the general election itself is not till November, so we're still going to have a big time lag between the time people are nominated and the time people actually run in the general election. So. Yeah. Obviously, the idea is to make Illinois relevant on a national level, and make Illinois have a big say in both parties' primaries.
Even though it costs money and we can't afford it, the fact is I just as soon see the presidential primary be February 5th, and then the local primary be Labor Day.
Well, there was some talk of that, actually. There's some talk about just running the presidential delegate, and that talk didn't last too long because of the cost.
See, that's true, but the preferential votes for I guess I understand this because I actually did run as a delegate in 1972 under 21 for Gene McCarthy. But the preferential vote has nothing to do with who wins the state at the convention, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't it the delegates? It's the delegates.
Right. You elect delegates, slates of delegates for different candidates.
So in theory, let's say it's Clinton and Obama got 60% of the vote, but Clinton wins all the delegates.
Well, it's a beauty contest, and the delegates run by congressional districts. So
right. So basically, the delegates that get the votes will be representative. But yeah, it's a beauty contest. I mean, no matter what you win by, if your delegates don't win, you don't have any clout at the convention.
Right. The whole idea of a primary is you're electing delegates who then go to the convention and choose the nominee. Yeah. And people pledge to certain candidates, or they can run as an independent delegate if they choose, and it's designated on there. So, what's important is when people go in there and vote, if they're voting, they want Obama, they're voting for all the Obama delegates. If they want independent, they're voting for independent delegates. But I just think that it's going to be, I understand the rationale behind it and on a national level, but I think it's going to sneak up on an awful lot of people.
It's definitely going to sneak up, and I want to tell you, in the three other shows we filmed today, Bernie Stone already came out for Hillary, and Larry Sufferman is going to be he and some of the local people are going to be responsible in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for Obama.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? The fact that we do have somebody from our state running obviously is a huge factor in moving the date up. But it's been talked about the last couple of elections, as we mentioned earlier. The last couple of elections, by the time the primary election rolled around in Illinois, both the Republican and Democratic presidential nominees were pretty much locked in.
That's very true, and at least this time we'll actually have a voice in the matter. Well, that'll be like the Super Tuesday. That'll be the day when maybe the whole race is decided.
There are a lot of big states on that February 5th.
A lot of states have moved for that
right.
reason. No question about it. Anyway, at this point, I want to thank you very much, Jim Nally. As far as I'm concerned, well, actually, as far as anybody should be concerned, the leading election lawyer in the state of Illinois.
Thank you.
And if you would like to contact Jim, you can reach him at 312-422-5560. Don't delay. Call today. I don't know,